Right, the royal family cost the taxpayer more than £86 million last year, official figures from Buckingham Palace have shown.
They spent about £1 million on helicopter journeys, but the overall travel expenditure was down by around 13%.
Yeah, so Cameron Walker is here with us now because Prince Charles's finances are in the headlines today. Cameron, why is that?
Yeah, well, the Sovereign Grant Report, which is the pot of money given by the government to the royal family to fund their official duties, has been released by Buckingham Palace. Lots and lots of details. But before we start that, let's just explain to viewers and listeners exactly how the royal family is funded. So we've got a graphic for those watching on television, which is going to show you what the Crown Estate is, and that is a big property portfolio of lands and buildings and the seabed around the United Kingdom, owned by the Crown, but the King surrenders all of those profits to the Treasury, and then the Treasury then pay a percentage of those profits back to the King, which is known as the Sovereign Grant, usually 15%, but because Buckingham Palace is being resurfaced at the moment, it's 25% roughly, which is why £86.3 million of our money, taxpayers' money, has been spent on the royal family last year. There's lots of figures to delve into. You said in your link, £1 million spent on helicopters. King Charles, obviously, very environmentally conscious, so perhaps some critics would call him out on that one.
The Palace always like to come up with a figure, Cameron, don't they? It costs per family or per taxpayer £1.29 a year. It's still pretty small beer, but that doesn't take into account, of course, the huge cost of security, which we never ever get the real figure of.
Yeah, exactly, and security is done separately by the Home Office, so this is not included within the Sovereign Grant. But what is little funny details, really, like Buckingham Palace's temperature being turned down to 19 degrees in the rooms which are occupied, but only 16 degrees in the rooms which are unoccupied due to the rising cost of heating bills. And, of course, Buckingham Palace, a massive building to heat. But staff salary costs have gone up quite substantially, 5 or 6%, which has massively increased the payroll for Buckingham Palace, £27.1 million. As for diversity, though, the Buckingham Palace has missed their diversity target for a second year running. I think it's roughly 9% or something. And compared to Kensington Palace, which is William and Catherine's household, their diversity figure for ethnic minorities is 16.3%. So Kensington Palace doing better than Buckingham Palace on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, we're not. None of us are going to feel too devastated for the King, are we? That his property portfolio apparently shrunk in value by 500 million, and it's still billions and billions. I mean, he's on paper. Crown Estate is enormously wealthy. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. So the Crown Estate profits for this year have been published, £442 million.
A lot of money.
But that's because of the windfall created from these 6 offshore wind farms which were invested in. But that windfall of 100 million, the King, from my understanding, does not want to go into the sovereign grant. He doesn't want that to be part of it. He wants it to go back into the public purse for the wider public good. He doesn't want to benefit directly from that extra windfall money.
Well, that seems sensible, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we're going to see much of them in the next few days? Where are they? What are the royals up to?
The King, well, I think you'll have to wait and see. There's a few things which perhaps we can't say just yet. But next week, of course, the King's going to be in Scotland for Edinburgh, Holyrood Week. And we're going to have the ceremony, the presentation of the Scottish crown jewels to King Charles as the new sovereign. It's been dubbed as a kind of mini coronation. I don't think Buckingham Palace see it as that way, but still a pretty significant event.
They did a mini coronation, Scottish coronation for the Queen. And I remember there was some surprise when she went up to Scotland. She was dressed in like a civvies, if you could use that. They were expected her to be in robes and crowns and coronets. So it was a little bit disappointing. So they'll be quite aware of that when he does this in Scotland next week.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a huge procession from Edinburgh Castle with the Scottish crown jewels down to St Giles Cathedral, and a separate procession from Palace of Holyrood in Edinburgh with members of the royal family processing to St Giles Cathedral. So it is going to be very similar looking.
Will they
to
all
what
be
we saw
out
in
there?
London.
Will they all be on parade? All the senior royals?
We know for sure King, Queen, Prince and Princess of Wales, but we don't know about any of the others yet.
I bet the Princess Anne will be there because she does a lot in Scotland.
Well, perhaps. I'm sure we'll see others popping up from time to time.